So yesterday we learnt about Omkar. Om is the most powerful mantra. In Sanatana Dharma, there are three paths of Upasana. So we have three different types of Upasanas which we do, or what we call as different forms of single pointedness practices. One is where we use Sagun Sakar, which is the name and the form of Bhagavan. So Krishna, Shiva, Durga, Hanuman, so many of these, where the form will be there, name will be there, a mantra will be chanted, we build a bond with Bhagavan, and we do the mantra japa, shloka, stuti, all that. Because our mind thinks in terms of pictures. It needs a support, alamban it is called. And whatever we meditate upon, Gurudev always said Hindus are not idol worshippers, they are ideal worshippers. We worship the ideal behind the idol. So, those qualities of that Bhagavan, we will internalize. So if we say Bhagavan Ram, what comes to your mind? Maryada Purushottam, follower of Dharma, uncompromising in duties. If we say Shiva, what comes to your mind? Vairagya, auspiciousness, peace, anything. So many values, ideals can come into our mind. If we say Durga, what comes to your mind? Shakti, strength, destroyer of evil. So each form has a certain idea, value, ideal associated. One internalizes that. That is Sagun Sakar. And one will have darshan of that form, Bhagavan's grace, one will experience. These forms are not created by human beings. These are there. Vedas reveal these forms. And so many devotees have had darshan of Bhagavan in those forms. Second is some minds who are little subtler. They will do this upasana called Sagun Nirakar, where form is not there but qualities are there. So there is no specific form, like Omkar is a Sagun Nirakar upasana. Because Omkar actually doesn't have a form. The form that has been there is some Rishi Prajna, it has been there and everyone has been using, but Vedas don't reveal any form of Omkar. Omkar is a sound symbol. It is the shortest sound symbol. Om iti ekaksharam brahma. It is one akshara which will indicate supreme truth. So how does one do the upasana? The chanting of Om, one meditates that this is the way Bhagavan is manifesting. So it is Nirakar, but it has guna. So Ishvara is Sarvagnya, Sarvavyapi, Sarvashaktiman, meaning omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, very compassionate. So all those qualities are there. Some people will worship even nature, so Surya and other forms in the nature, other forces in the nature, as Sagun Nirakar Upasana. It doesn't have a human form. They don't think Surya as Surya Devata. They think Surya as just Surya. So, second type of people are those who may be able to focus their mind without the need of a form, just focusing on the sound. Omkar is that Upasana. It is a sound symbol. It is Nada Upasana. And third is the subtlest. Those who do the Nirgun Nirakar Upasana. No form, no qualities also. Only pointers of Brahman. Unborn, unchanging, imperishable, like that. So many, or Sat, Chit, Anand. Now, the minds which are very pure, single-pointed will be able to contemplate steadily on that. Otherwise, the mind will start imagining forms. Suppose we say Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Then what happens? If the mind is not ready, And we'll think of somebody who is Shiva, some servant of mine, some driver of mine, or some person called Chidananda, or the mind will go to some music. Such a nice music, Sudha Malhotra, she sang so nicely, and in front of Gurudev she was singing, and that tune is so good. The mind will get distracted into any of that. If the mind is pure and single pointed, it will stay with that state of awareness that this Chidananda Rupa Shivoham indicates. So these are three different levels of upasanas. Please remember, each one by itself can lead us to the truth. We don't have to think, I have to start from Sagun Sakar, then I have to go to Sagun Nirakar, then I have to go to Nirgun Nirakar, then I will realize the truth. Ye janam mein to nahi hoga. Not like that. Any one will help us to finally realize the truth. So today we are using Omkar. We don't have a form. We will focus on the sound. Om is most powerful mantra. The entire essence of the Vedic knowledge is in the Gayatri mantra, 24 syllables. Essence of the Gayatri is in 7 Vyahritis. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. Essence of that is in 3 Vyahritis. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. Essence of that is in Om. So it's the most condensed form of the entire Vedic knowledge. And Om represents consciousness. And the highest level, Om represents consciousness. Om also is what we call the primordial sound. And it is Anahad Nad. It is the sound symbol of the truth. But it is not a sound like a regular sound. Any sound that we create, how is it created? By friction, by ahat. Even vocal cords, they have to, what you call, vibrate. This is without that. So in Puranas it will be said that when Brahmaji was born from the Nabhi of Bhagavan Vishnu, the 2 sounds that manifested are Om and Atha. So Om is that sound symbol which covers all the sound possibilities from A to Ma. All sound possibilities will get covered. Sometimes people, when we chant, we start from the throat. So if you say you will feel here. Then U and Ma. So U, Ma. This will cover the range of entire sound possibilities. Those who do yogic meditations, etc., then they feel deeper. They feel that from the Nabhi it will come. For some, they will feel it will come from the spine. So different deeper sadhanas are there. Meaning to say that Om covers all sound possibilities, and this whole creation is nothing but sound vibration at different frequencies. Om is that which pervades this entire creation. So Om is not just a symbol. Om is actually the sound that pervades. Everywhere there will be a unmanifest or a sound that permeates everything will be Omkar. So you can hear Omkar in the waves of the ocean. You can hear Omkar even hear the bamboos which are there. When the breeze passes, you can hear Om. You can hear Om in the conch, in the temple bell, in the crying of a baby, in many things you can hear. Om will be the sound that pervades. So Omkar that way is not only a sound symbol to quieten the mind. Omkar is consciousness that pervades the whole creation, and Omkar is that consciousness in us. Mandukya Upanishad says beautifully, Akara represents our waking state. Waker actually, Akara is consciousness identified with the waker. So right now, all of us are identified with Mr. So-and-so, this identity that we have. That identity is the waker. How are we aware of this? Because there is a consciousness that enlivens this whole thing. If this consciousness is not there, this will be jada, it will be dead, we can't experience anything. That consciousness, because of which I am aware of the waking state, that is indicated by A. That which is making me aware of my dream state. In the waking state, the entity that I have, I feel, it is not there in the dream. In the dream, so many other things we experience, this whole world we don't experience. And have you ever wondered, so many of us have glasses, we put aside the glasses, there is no light, we put off everything, and yet we are able to see the dream. In what light are we able to see the dream? That is the light of consciousness, because of which the mind is enlivened and we are able to see. So that Ukara represents that consciousness, that in me there is a consciousness which is making me aware of the dream world. And Makara represents that because of which I am aware of absence of everything in deep sleep. What people call as dreamless sleep. Nowadays people use the word power nap. I had a quick power nap. I didn't know anything, just went deep into the mind and refreshed. There, what is the experience? Nothing is there, neither the waking state nor the dream state. It is absence of everything. So Makara represents that consciousness because of which I am aware of absence of everything. That because of which I am aware all the time. That awareness is one and the same. Waker is not in the dream state, dreamer is not in the deep sleep state, dreamer is not in the waking state. But have you wondered, how do I remember all the three? There has to be one common factor. That common factor is consciousness. And that consciousness is me. So when we chant Om, there are two ways to do. One is we use Om only as a sound symbol to focus the mind. Second is when we chant Om, we become aware that Om is consciousness, I am that consciousness, in which the waking, dream, deep sleep comes and goes. So today we are going to do the second aspect. Initially we will do like what we did yesterday, we will chant Om at different levels so that the mind becomes single pointed. After that we will stop and chant Om together, long Om. What you have to do is be aware of the silence before the Om, while chanting the Om, after the Om. That silence is the fourth state of awareness. A, U, Ma. These three. Then before we start another A, U, Ma, there is a gap in between, right? The silence. That is called Amatra, Om. That's the fourth matra. A, U, Ma, these are three matras. Then there is a gap between that. That is Amatra. So today we have to focus on that gap. If we learn this method, then what happens? We have shifted our awareness in which the thought is rising. As I learn this, what will happen? A thought of anger, if it comes, I can be aware that this is only a thought that is rising in me, it stays in me, it dissolves in me. I am not affected by it at all.
I am that infinite consciousness. Nothing happens to
me. It's just a thought, it comes, it goes. Just like if suppose a dog comes here, what will you do? Will you jump on that dog?
If it comes, you watch it and it goes, right? But we don't do that. And Mahatma Ji used to give that example. A donkey, if it comes, you don't sit and jump on that donkey. But 60,000 thoughts come in our mind and we are
jumping on each of them.
If you jump on the donkey and sit on it and it will take you anywhere, 60,000 such donkeys if I am jumping every day. And what do I want?
Shanti chahiye. How? Jumping on the donkey and sitting on it and going wherever. It won't happen. It won't work. So I have to be aware. Thought arises, thought stays, thought goes. It's just
a thought. But we have given it so much power.
So just observe that thought is rising. So as you chant Om, observe silence was there before, silence is there now, silence will be there afterwards. So that's the practice that we will do.
Sit erect.
And one more important thing, this practice of Omkar, Kathopanishad says,
Etadalambanam param. This is the supreme alambanam. Etadalambanam shreshtham. This is the greatest support. Etadalambanam jnatva yo yaduchhasi tasya tat.
whatever a person desires, because the mind has become single pointed, one will attain that. So Omkar Upasana is powerful. It can bless us with prosperity, happiness, success, supreme liberation, whatever we want.